Where's that John Armstrong? Another 414. After him, we're going to do the 415th, and do I have to pick the rotation, or can you guys come up one at a time after each other, introduce yourself? Because when it comes to me remembering everybody's name and the rotation that is done, I would rather do it now by squadron. So the 415th will follow. And who's going to be first, Augie? Okay.
I didn't know about this until last night, so this is going to be extremely brief. I just have what I can remember throughout the night. But my World War II experience coincides exactly with World War II. I went in the day after Pearl Harbor, went out the day after VJ Day. So anyway, I started off at Scott Field, and in 1940, early 43, I found myself in Orlando and Kissimmee, assigned as a radar operator, and we were assigned to our pilots, and we spent several months chasing each other across the Florida skies during a week. We had weekends off, and that was some of my fondest memories. Closest at Daytona Beach, there was 6,000 wax in those waterfront hotels, so you can imagine where we spent our weekends. But then all that came to a sudden close when we were sent to New York and put on what was formerly a luxury liner called the Empress of Japan, but the name of it was changed obviously to Empress of Scotland. We went over alone on that unescorted, pursuing a zigzag path. Supposedly it kept us from getting in the way of German submarines. It did work though, but I remember during the trip over, they assigned us 2 or 3 hours on night duty on the deck as watch. And I don't know what in the world we would have done if we couldn't see anything to start with, and I don't know what we'd done if we would have seen anything, but that at least took up a couple hours of our time bouncing around. Then in England, we separated the pilots and the ROs. We got our training with some RAF ROs, and they got checked out on the Beaufighters for a couple months. Then we flew our own Beaufighters down through Africa. We went to Algiers. From there to Sardinia, then Corsica, and after 71 missions, I was rotated back. However, the one highlight of my whole stay all the time overseas was after 6 months or so, our squadron had gotten several daylight victories, but had never downed a plane at night using the textbook procedures where you use the radar and the whole bit. Well, in January of 44, my pilot and I was fortunate enough to be at the right place at the right time instead of the wrong place at the wrong time. Over Corsica, GCI told us there was 2 bogeys in the area. We went up there and we made contact, and this was all at night using all the GCI bit and the radar and everything, and we were getting what I'm told to be was the first American night fighter to get a victory over a German. With my pilot, James Anderson, shot down a Dornier 217, which he thought he had identified, and he was lucky he was right, because the next morning they picked up 2 crew members from it who had bailed out, and it was a Dornier 217. And so that was my main memory of the whole thing over there. And since I haven't repaired anything, that's it. The whole 414th On site here is just Joe Jenkins and I, so we have a full crew, a pilot and an RO.